Hi, film family. Welcome back to Diaries of a Filmmaker. So, I told you guys I was going to bring you into the editing room for episode 6. I feel like we didn't have so much left to do, but at the same time, it feels like we had so much left to do. First off, let me introduce you to my editor. His name is Kelvin. He didn't care to be on camera, but you see his face on his computer screen, so that's Kelvin. He is married to my wonderful producer, Brittany, who also didn't care to be on camera, but it's okay because without them, I wouldn't have had a movie to be editing anyway. So, to remind you guys, this is my first short film ever on a big scale, like having a budget and putting money in. Our budget was around $7,000, and I
Jesus
think
Christ.
we made it work in 6,300. So we saved a little bit of money, but not that much. That was still a lot of money that was put into it. So whew, now being in the editing room after filming, I feel like there are a lot of shots we did that don't work, like either continuity wise or because my actors weren't professionals. Well, they were my siblings and my cousins, so actors, they know their job. They know they have to do the same movement, the same body language, the same tone every time the camera's up, which happens like 4 or 5 different angles. So when you move an object, you have to land it in the same spot for it to work for the next shot. And they were family, so these little things they didn't pick up on, and that's okay. It makes it difficult in the editing room. So certain scenes didn't match when it came to the big picture altogether, but we do a lot of tweaking within post to try to make it work overall. And it was just so interesting because when you're filming, like in production, you break down each scene into shot by shot. So the focus of the crew is that one shot versus the focus of the full movie is the director's job, to make sure all the small shots that we're doing fit into the big picture overall. So I knew what my film was about and what I wanted to portray. But in the editing room, I'm noticing a lot of small little things I could have done better or tightened up on that would have helped my big picture overall, and not made the post-production process so interestingly creative to try to make it work, if that makes sense. It's not that what I shot wasn't good, but me personally as a filmmaker, I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I'm trying to see where I can do better for my next shoot, because I will say I was frustrated with myself for a while, thinking, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? But instead of being frustrated with myself, I'm going to take it in as a learning moment. It was my first short film ever. So, and this is what my career is. So I can't be too judgmental. For the advice that I get, you have to keep making stuff. That's the only way you learn. So that's what I can do to better prepare for my next short film. So now that I got through that, I'm going to break down all the scenes and explain what you're seeing in that small little screen right there makes sense to my movie overall, or what we had to do to make it work, and maybe next time how I could better tweak it while filming instead of in post-production. So yeah, come watch me make fun of my own movie and myself and figure out how I made this work all together, with the help of my amazing editor and my producer. So in this first clip right here, we had a huge issue of the ginger being in the shot. It's so tiny. I'll see if I can screen in that white right there. So we're trying to AI VFX the ginger out of the shot, because originally the ginger plays after this shot comes in. So Any other time, the ginger being in the shot makes sense, but in this specific moment, it did not make sense. So you're seeing Kelvin maneuver AI through the Adobe editing app, and it's working. It's just taking a lot, and if I say it right, I think he has to grasp all the colors that come with it. But then the AI tool is also very helpful, which is of course another add-on for payment and stuff like that. So it's not free. So issue number 2 was the ring ceremony scene. Originally, I wanted a much bigger scene than this, but specifically in the corner, the issue was the hand placements. They were never in the middle long enough for how we needed. Because of that, we had to like flip our frame upside down. Like while I was filming, it looked perfectly well enough in the camera. It looked great, but when going back to editing it, I did not like how disheveled and out of the middle they seemed compared to everything else. So you saw we came back to a pot on the stove, and it just aesthetically it wasn't working for me. So I definitely wanted to fix up this ring ceremony shot, and I figured out that for next time I just need to play into different variations and maybe have multiple angles instead of just having one angle. That's something that would help me in the long run, because I didn't like the one that I had. They always say get one more for safety, so that was my mistake. Okay, so we're going into the beginning establishing. There wasn't too much wrong with this. There were specific visions that I had. I wanted the brothers to be back to back, and it looked like one of those cool supernatural Sam and Dean type of shots from the back, watching them walk up, but it continuity wise, making it go from this shot of him getting out of the car, which it looks like is just on a loop, but I gave Kelvin, the editor, a note, and he is just fixing it up. That's why it looks like it's on a loop. But the issue that came with this shot is that his brother doesn't walk fast enough in the wide shot for him to be back to back together close to each other. So it wouldn't make sense. He would have to make it look like time passed or cut it sooner, but then it ended up not working with our big wide of them walking forward too, which I'll put in there. So because of that, we had to move a few of the shots around and shorten them, and then also cut out that one shot that I really, really wanted. But I'm still pleased with how the establishing is. So obviously this is the beginning of the movie. And now you can see them coming into the house and walking in that wide. So you see what I mean? It didn't match in between those shots of him getting out of the car and walking. But overall, it worked. And of course, that wasn't everything that was wrong, in my opinion. But I'm only going to share a little bit for now, because if I shared too much, it would take forever. But adios for now, and I'll see you on next episodes of Diaries of a Filmmaker. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah.